Oh, okay. Yay, we're recording.
Yay,
We're recording.
recording.
How does this work? I mean, I know that we've done 22 episodes, but I've just forgotten how it starts.
I think we've done 23.
No, this is 23.
What?
Okay, maybe I can't count. I don't know.
That's what it says on the layout.
Yeah. This is
Okay, well,
23.
I thought we had already done 23.
We should argue about it some more instead of starting.
Oh my gosh. All right, fine. It doesn't matter. We'll find out what episode we're on when I go to edit it.
Yes.
So, Aaron is in full isolation.
Yes.
Full quarantine isolation.
We
miss you so much.
all alone with Zach and my parents.
Yes, we miss our Aaron dearly.
We miss you too. Yeah.
Oh, Aaron.
It's been kind of nice in ways, but also it sucks because we can't see people. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But you guys are healthy?
Yeah, we're healthy.
That's good.
Zach's got some
good.
allergies, so that sucks. But other than that, we're good.
You know what I was realizing I was really sad about when we made the plans to do this? I was for a second I thought, oh, I wonder what we'll get for dinner before we record. And then I was like, oh no, we can't do that. We usually get food and stuff and hang out a bit, and we can't do that.
Yeah. We've been doing curbside pickup occasionally. Tonight we had free delivery from Chipotle, and they just leave it on your doorstep.
Chipotle is my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did DoorDash.
Yeah, we did DoorDash with Rancheritos today.
Just doing what we can to support our local restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And DoorDash, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because our parents normally never want to eat out. They don't like going to restaurants or getting takeout and stuff, except for once a week because they're cheap. They like the food and they want the store-bought food, as they call it, but they're too cheap to do it very often. But with this, we've been getting store-bought food 3 or 4 times a week. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
They're a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It was a very weird time for me to start the vegetarian diet.
Oh, yeah. It's been crazy.
Yeah. I'd planned to do this for a long time, and I was like, should I maybe put it off until things are back to normal? And I just decided that doesn't make any sense. So I'm doing it.
It was really funny, though, because, the day that she did it, that she announced to us that she was starting her vegetarian, we wanted to get food, and we were like, what should we get? And everything we named had meat in it, and we were just like, how are we going to do this?
It's really not that hard, though. You guys just pick a place, and I figure out what my options are.
One time we picked McDonald's, and Elsa just got fries and a chocolate shake.
And I was so happy.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because
it's really not a problem. They act like it inconveniences them so much. It's
Mhm.
You're fine. Just get whatever you want.
It was funny, though, when we were getting McDonald's, because I texted her and told her that we wanted to get McDonald's and asked her, what she wanted from it. And she was like, oh, I don't know. I have to see what my options are. And I was like, if I were you, I would get fries, a cherry pie, and a chocolate shake. And then she responded, right after I sent that, she immediately responded with fries and a chocolate shake, because she had been writing it at the same time as me.
Nice.
And it was funny because I had just been thinking, wow, I don't know how to be vegetarian.
Well, I wanted to look at it because I wasn't really very hungry that day either.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just wanted to look it up to see what they fry their fries in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just vegetable oil, so I'm good.
Yeah.
But you want to know a really sad thing, though? So I love Brussels sprouts.
Uh-huh.
And they let you order Brussels sprouts as a side at Smashburger.
Yeah.
But they use, bacon grease. Why would you do that?
Well, okay. I can understand it not from, okay.
You're taking a perfectly good vegetarian side and made it a not vegetarian side.
I agree that that's sucky, but at the same time, you're taking a ridiculously awful vegetable and frying it in something awesome.
Brussels sprouts are good.
Brussels sprouts are good when they've been fried. They're not good any other way.
Good. I'm sorry, Aaron. We're talking nonsense.
We're ridiculous.
At your cute face on our screen. You have had some wonderful time to play video games, I can see.
Oh my gosh, Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
You wrote so much.
So much.
And I've seen you online so much. Almost as much as me.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Right?
I know.
I
Sometimes I
know.
turn on my PlayStation and just forget about it.
Yeah.
So, like, but you've been on almost as long as I have, even with that.
So take a moment, Erin, to tell us a little bit about your quarantine, and especially about all of the wonderful games you've been playing during quarantine.
Oh man. Okay, so first of all, quarantine could not have started at a worse time. That was when Zach and I were getting over the influenza, and like a day after we were better, that's when everyone's like social distancing, everybody panic and go buy toilet paper and and all of the produce, which makes no sense because it it's
Yeah, it's not gonna
perishable.
stay good.
Like, why are you gonna hoard perishable items, you idiots? So yeah, so it was an interesting experience because I had to brave Macy's to get, a few items so we could actually eat something. And I went right after work, so there weren't too many people there, but it was still enough that like every time I passed someone, I would like turn my head away from them. And I'm sure they were doing the same thing. I'm sure we were all like suspicious of each other and kind of nervous. Like, it was a weird experience. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we've never been through anything like this before. It's just so new and foreign. Um, but yeah, since then, we've just been doing Walmart pickup and surviving off of corn dogs and frozen pizzas and
No.
stuff like that.
I know,
So,
I ate a corn dog again for the first time in like 7 years
right.
the other day. I was like looking around through the fridge and I was like, we have corn dogs in here. Oh, maybe I'll have one.
Right?
I used
Yeah.
to eat them all the time when I was younger, and then I just forgot they were a food.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, since I work from home, it hasn't been that big of a change. It just kind of sucks not being able to, hang out with friends in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are like the most social people I know.
Seriously. It's kind of ridiculous how social you are compared to us because we don't do anything. We don't go anywhere.
I don't think we're that much more social, to be honest.
Oh, I don't know, Aaron. You guys like leave the house and stuff. We like if we had our way, we wouldn't. This is like this is kind of like how I would prefer to live all the time, except with money coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I tricked myself into thinking that I would have time to beat Kingdom Hearts before Final Fantasy VII Remake came out.
Oh.
I think I'm pretty close to being done. I got to the Caribbean. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a happy.
It's
What?
sorry,
Oh,
it's Kingdom Hearts. So they like even when you're reaching the end, when you're like, this is the last world, suddenly they'll like squeeze a few more hours out of
yeah,
it. That's what they do. That's what Kingdom Hearts likes to do.
yeah.
It drives me crazy.
Especially
The second one was the worst for that.
Oh gosh, especially with cutscenes. I swear, like
Oh my
it's like 60% cutscenes, 40% gameplay.
seriously. Aaron, in the last section, the last like boss fights, I say boss fights
Oh
plural,
no.
because you're going to get so frustrated with how often you get in like 3 hits and then there's a cutscene and then it goes back to fighting for like 5 more hits and then there's another cutscene.
No. What is it? A tutorial?
No. It's like, yeah, they treat it like that, but it's like I was going crazy. I was like, just let me fight.
Right?
Gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But other than the cutscenes and the ridiculous anime, dialogue, it's a happy and wholesome game. And I love all the fun things you can do with all the different keyblades and the Disneyland rides. Yes, Disneyland
Yes.
rides. It's so cool.
Yes, those are so fun.
I just sit there with a big stupid smile on my face the whole time, like, this is great.
That's how I feel every time I use the pirate ship. I'm always like, yes! You all laughed at me at how much I love this stupid ride. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, Aaron, have you learned how to use shot locks? They're really confusing. It took me until I had already beaten the game to understand them. Like, okay, last Sunday when I played it, like the whole day, that's when I learned how to use shot locks. I beat the game like in December.
Is that when you hold the right bumper and
Yeah.
press X?
Yeah, and you like load up a bunch of hits and stuff.
Yeah.
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 So that's like shot locks. They're actually really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And once you like learn about them and stuff, I didn't use them at all for the entire game because I didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
But they're really fun.
I know, yeah.
Clearly this is one of those situations where I was rushing through the tutorial thing, like it brought up a hint and was like, you can do this thing, and I was like, I don't care. I'm just playing the game, Kingdom Hearts, let me just do my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably only figured it out because I went back to playing it after, like 4 months of not playing it, so I was trying to figure out buttons and stuff, and I pressed the right bumper and I'm like, ooh, what's this doing? And I'm like, oh, there are commands down there. So yeah, it was pretty great. We pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, I don't know what edition it is. Some kind of ridiculous first class edition is what it is.
The super expensive edition.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know how expensive it was. Zach's like, take a guess. And I start guessing big numbers. And he's like, nope, keep going. I'm like, what?
How much was it? How much was it?
Yeah, you showed us some pictures of all your cool stuff you got with
the
it.
picture of Cloud on his motorcycle.
He's huge.
I showed that to
Yeah, we should put those on our Insta.
Yeah, I showed that to our mom too, and I was like, look at what Aaron and Zach got. And she was like, oh, that's so cool. And I was like, I really want that game, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get it. I think I'm going to have to wait. And she was like, well, once you are getting income again, you can go ahead and get that fancy sculpture. And I was like, they probably paid like several $100s for that, Mom. And she was like, oh, never mind then. Just get the regular one.
It's so pretty though. He looks so good.
So cool.
Oh man, it's
and
so
it's like
detailed.
It's like a good high quality sculpture.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love those.
I can't wait to see it in person.
I know. Yeah, it's so great with his motorcycle.
One day we'll see it in person.
One of these days. So I've played for a few hours now, probably about like 5 hours. The fighting is really smooth, even when you take breaks to do the kind of what am I trying to say? Like the strategic gameplay where you choose moves.
Oh, the like tactical view?
Yeah, the tactical view is really cool. So it's still smooth even with that. Like you'd think it would interrupt the flow, but it really doesn't. It just adds to it.
Nice.
The characters are really fun, even though the dialogue is very cheesy anime, but not nearly as bad as Devil May Cry 5.
That's the standard by which all other cheesy Japanese games are measured now.
Yes, as much as we love it, just no.
Oh, it's so cheesy.
Yeah.
The dialogue is just...
It's painful.
It really is.
But yeah, anyway, Cloud is a BAMF. I already love him. And I can already tell the story's going to be amazing. Even though I played only a few hours, it's already such a rich world, but very mysterious, and so I'm excited to see how everything unfolds and what's actually going on in this crazy world. Cloud he's got like a mysterious haunting past, and he's trying to gain back some humanity. And I can also tell Sephiroth is going to be terrifying.
Ooh.
Like, we've seen him a couple of times, and he's just so scary, but I love it. And like, if Cloud is worried about him, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading that some fans were upset that like the game isn't following the same story beats and plot as the first one, because they're thinking that really makes it more of a reboot than a remake. And Jensen has a long, really fascinating rant about about how a reboot and a remake are the same thing, and it's remaster that's different.
No.
She made me listen to this earlier.
I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just saying that a remaster implies you take the original one and just give it a glossy paint, you know? And then reboot or remake imply that you're starting from the ground up and redoing it, and that you might change things because maybe you had ideas of like, oh, if we could go back and redo the game, I would have done this differently.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, and I don't necessarily think you're wrong. I think that it's completely understandable, though, that people misinterpreted it. And I haven't started playing it yet. I got my little, I was playing Witcher when I got a notification that it had finished installing and it was ready to go. And I was like, ooh, maybe I should do that. And then I started thinking about it as I'm, you know, running around as Geralt, and I was like, I'm not going to start it yet, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah. And I didn't have the money to buy it, so
sorry, Jensen.
I'm just gonna play it on Elsa's PlayStation, or see if I can use. I have Elsa's profile on my PlayStation. I'm gonna see if I can go onto hers, download it onto my PlayStation, and then play it through my profile on hers. I'm gonna see if that'll work.
I don't think it's gonna work.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it anyway.
You can dream.
Yeah, I can dream, can't I?
You can try.
Yeah. I'm gonna try. But for now, I'm not gonna get into my games right now, but for now I can't even think about Final Fantasy anyway, so
yeah.
My mind is consumed already.
Elsa, what have you been playing during quarantine, and how's your quarantine going?
My quarantine is really similar to what normal life is like, except that it sort of wrecked tax season. Because they went ahead and they did automatic extensions essentially for everybody until July 15th.
Yeah.
Like, they extended the due date to July 15th, which means that nobody is trying to get their taxes done by next week, which is what's usually going on. And instead, people have disappeared. I'm having to, like, get after my clients to get them to get on it. And yeah, it's just...
Sounds like it's a pain.
It's a bit of a pain, but it's also, like, in some ways, it's a relief. I'm having to work more... I'm having to work really consistently. Like, I still have to go into the office every day, but I am not working as long of hours, and it's usually just kind of a system where I'm touching base with people, and I'm just like, okay, where are you at? And with everybody, and I just kind of get status updates with, like, this audit or with that balance sheet or whatever, and then I leave. And this is boring. I just realized this is really boring. I heard myself use the word balance sheet.
Oh my gosh.
When we were on this video game podcast.
I realized my eyes were going out of focus and I was just staring at that plushie on your floor. I wasn't even listening.
I just want to apologize.
I didn't even hear you say balance sheet.
Deep within my soul, there is an apology. I'm very sorry. Anyway, my life is pretty much the same, except now I don't get to hang out with people at all, which is fine, honestly. I mean, I'm still doing hangouts with, like, you guys. We did our D&D group a couple of times.
Yeah.
And taking advantage of Netflix's weird group thing, which has been kind of fun, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I got together with a bunch of people from law school, and by got together, I mean we're all in different states, but we watched movies together and chatted, and it was cute. But it does mean I have a lot more free time now than I usually do this time of year, so that's been cool. And I used it wisely. I beat Witcher 3. Woo! Beat it. It was real cool. I loved it. I got the good ending, and Geralt's my boy. And then I was going to take a break and come back and do the DLC later, but I didn't want to. so I just started the DLC right away. I beat Hearts of Stone, which I think is great DLC It's the DLC that Jensen hasn't done yet.
Yeah,
So
we didn't have to play that one for my narrative class, so I've never actually started it.
so basically, I'm better at Witcher than you, is what that means.
Oh, snap.
I'd say that in terms of getting stuff done, you're better, but I've seen you fight. I'm better at fighting.
Well, I mean, with those controls, I don't feel like that's much of a brag.
And in terms of making choices, you're definitely better because I did not get the good ending. I didn't get the worst ending, but I didn't get I got a good ending that was good in one way and then terrible in another way.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this a little bit just because I tried to bring this up in a previous episode of our podcast and Jensen kind of shut me down because she was like, everybody read those books. But
Wait, when did those words have never come out of my mouth in that order.
Anyway, I read the books first, and so going into Witcher 3, I had all of the book material in mind, and I think that
helps.
I think that it helps. Yeah,
because I hadn't read the books before I played the game, and so I ended up making a choice that just screwed up my ending.
Well, and it's a choice that nobody who read the books would have made.
Yeah,
it's a choice that's
now that
like,
I've read the books, I would not have made that choice ever.
Yeah, and
I would never make that choice.
So I think that reading the books beforehand kind of enables you to get the best ending because I felt like the choices that I was making were influenced primarily by Geralt's character from the books and by certain things that I know about in the books that don't come up in the game. And I got the best ending as a result, and it was nice. And Hearts of Stone, I don't know if I got the best ending in Hearts of Stone. I really don't. It was interesting, and I want to talk to somebody about it, but nobody I know has beat this DLC, so
I'm sorry.
I'm just alone.
Sifu has. Next time you see Sifu, you can ask him.
Oh, okay, cool. Actually, we're supposed to go over there later.
Oh, cool.
I know that we're social distancing, but he needs to give me a key, so
yeah,
we're gonna figure something out. Anyway, so now I'm doing Blood and Wine, and I'm almost done with Blood and Wine.
She's really close to it. She was playing it right before we started this, and she's about to start my favorite part of the whole DLC, which is like right before the ending.
I'm really, really enjoying it a lot. I mean, I have complaints about Witcher 3. I definitely have critiques, but I don't even want to talk about any of that stuff because it just it just pales in comparison to how much I'm enjoying the game. Like I don't really care that much about the problems that are there. Like hold a gun to my head and I can tell you all about them, but I just overall am having a great time with it, and Blood and Wine has been really fun. It's beautiful. You can kind of tell that it came after everything and that they had like more money and more room to like kind of do things the way that they probably wanted to in the first place.
Yeah.
Things feel a bit smoother. And there's vampires, and I just love the vampires. It's my favorite character from the books makes an appearance. He's like really, really important to the overall plot, which was super exciting for me because I missed him a lot, so much. And yeah, it's just really good. It's just, I'm enjoying it. And that's not even all I'm playing. I've got like a bunch of other games I'm playing. I'm sorry. I've been talking too much. I'm just going to briefly touch on the fact that I started playing Agony, and that I did the demo for Bravely Default 2, which was, and I didn't play those ones much. I just kind of started both of them and they were fine. And maybe I'll talk about them more later if I play more of them later. But so far they're just kind of like options. And Bravely Default looks cool, but like it's also a JRPG, and I'll get into this in a second. Because like here's the deal. I started Resident Evil 2 and I got the Resident Evil 3 demo. And so I am playing Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, and I'm remembering that, like, survival horror is my home. I've been playing nothing but Witcher for months, and so going back to it, it just feels really, really great. And they did such a good job on these okay, it's a reboot, remaster, remake, Jensen, expert.
Those are remasters. Because it's the same, I'm pretty sure it's the same plot, but it's just fancy graphics.
It's completely different, okay.
But it's the same, I watched Kim play those when I was little, and everything I've seen looks like what I remember him playing, except fancy. Um,
We'll just pretend that Jensen knows everything
and
and is right.
the dogs are a billion times more terrifying. I was watching
Ooh.
Elsa playing the second game earlier today, and she accidentally opened the cages and let all the dogs free, and I almost just left the room because I couldn't handle it. The dogs gave me nightmares as a kid. They were so scary. I remember Kim going through a door and getting trapped with a bunch of them, and I was just like freaking out. And I think I distracted him so much with my freaking out that he died. It was really sad.
Well, in any case, I'm having a really good time with Resident Evil, and it's really nice to be back. I am hearing some complaints about Resident Evil 3 that I think could have some merit, but I'm going to wait to reserve judgments because so far I haven't heard anything from anyone I really trust all that much.
Yeah.
it's
Just
it's
the Google
just chatter.
homepage.
Yeah, no, just like Twitter.
That's what I've heard. Everything that I've heard that's negative about Resident Evil 3 has been from the Google homepage.
I don't really look at the Google homepage, so I was mostly talking about Twitter and Facebook.
I get bored and I just like open it and scroll through the stuff on there.
Yeah, that's literally never a thing that's ever happened to me. But
we're in quarantine. I get bored a lot. What am I gonna do?
I don't know.
Besides play video games.
In any case, the one thought I did have today though, because I remember back when I played Outlast and then I played the Whistleblower DLC, there was a moment where I was like, this DLC is so good, it's almost like an entirely different game. Like I would pay for this separately, like as a totally different game for Outlast. And now Resident Evil 3 kind of feels like that to Resident Evil 2, but like it really was a separate game that I had to pay for it separately, and I'm mad. So maybe I was lying.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like they're reusing so much and we're covering a lot of the same ground to the point where I'm like, why wasn't this DLC?
Oh.
Like
it feels a little, I don't know.
The only explanation I can think of for why it wasn't DLC is that
they wanted money.
Okay. Besides that, that's the obvious one. The other reason that I can think of is that since it originally was a separate game, they decided to keep it a separate game.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
But I mean, even back then, I'm sure that they made it like that. I think back then they probably made it like that because they didn't have the resources to like start with a whole new game from the ground up, and so they're like, we'll just reuse assets.
When were we in the mansion?
That's the first game. Remember? You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Oh, that's right.
You're right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and then really quick, last thing, me and Jensen played Dreams.
Yeah. It's so fun.
It's really fun.
It's so cute, Erin.
It's really stupid cute. You can tell it's the Little Big Planet people.
Yeah. They once again have a British narrator who has just the most soothing voice.
Yeah.
Last time it was Stephen Fry. I don't remember who it is this time. I forgot to look it up. But her voice is really familiar.
It's very soothing.
I know I've seen her in something.
And the games are so fun, and I think we're both gonna actually try our hand at making something at some point.
We played this really cute game where you're like a little skeleton kid and you're running around and you're trying to fight this like thing that's turning everything into cardboard. And it was so cute. And then Elsa also played a game where you're a left hand and you're trying to cook a meal because the right hand is on the phone. And it was so funny. It's a bit like Octodad, but with just one arm. And it's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
I managed to cause a lot of chaos with my left hand.
And then she managed to Southpaw cooking, yeah.
Yeah.
She managed to serve up one thoroughly raw steak.
Yeah. It's really
good.
Yeah.
In any case, yeah, well, Dreams was great, and I don't want to take up too much more time, but like basically due to being inside a lot and all of the deals that companies are taking advantage of and offering, I've spent a lot of money on video games past couple of weeks, and I've played a lot of different games, and I'm probably forgetting a few. And it's just been fun. It's been fun, but it's also like it's so weird right now.
Yeah.
It is so life is so weird right now.
Yeah. Yeah, for
And
real.
I'm just glad I have video games. And
Yeah.
I want to start Final Fantasy VII, but I think I am going to wait because I don't know if I can handle another massive time-consuming game right now. I might need to hold off for a minute and just see if I can. I don't know. I'm gonna live off of a diet of shorter survival horror for a little bit, and then I'll get back into like longer games when I feel prepared emotionally.
Yeah, I get that.
But I kind of can't wait because I did have a lot of fun with the demo, and it's just sitting there like installed on my PlayStation looking at me. So I don't know. I'll
you're
probably end up
stronger
playing
than I am.
Yeah. I don't know about that because even as I'm talking, I'm like, you're gonna play it tonight.
You Final Fantasy slut.
I guess so. I know, I'm just gonna give in.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, Jensen, what games have you been playing during quarantine? Or as Flula calls it, quarantine.
Quarantine.
I took this opportunity during quarantine to play some very quarantine related games. Well, quarantine / apocalypse related games. So, first thing that I played, the day before we recorded our last episode, I went ahead and started a new game of Fallout 4. And I decided to just kind of get through the main quest because I've never actually beaten it. And I've never even gotten through half of the game. I always get distracted with side quests. But this time I was like, I am finding my gosh dang son if it's the last thing I do. So I played the whole thing and I beat it a couple weeks ago and it was awesome and it was really fun. I gotta say, the whole the main story in that game, I still think it's one of the best ones. I love the voice character. It adds so much more emotion to the fact that you're missing your son. I mean, and I'm not saying that you can't have enough emotion with a non-voice character, but I don't know, I just really liked it. And maybe that I'm biased because the voice of the female character is Jack from Mass Effect. And maybe that's really what it is. Maybe it's that I like playing as Jack from Mass Effect, searching for her son.
It's one of your voice crushes.
Yes, it's one of my voice crushes. Anyway, so I also decided that I think Fallout 4 is a good game for just speeding through the main quest and not doing very many side quests. I did a couple of side quests, but mostly I just did ones that would fail if I didn't do them. And I think that it was really good to do it that way. I don't know, it just felt right, made sense. I have some thoughts on it though. One thing that I found was very strange, I've never noticed this before, but normally I play as a character with really high charisma because I like to get persuasion things. I like to be able to persuade people a lot. But this time I didn't feel like it fit the character I was playing, so I didn't put any charisma in at the start. I slowly build up her charisma. And I found out that when you fail persuasion things, the dialogue is very frequently the exact same thing you would get if you succeeded at it. Like if you fail it, usually it's the same dialogue, but then instead it'll be like you failed.
Oh,
but they'll still say the
weird.
same thing. It's the weirdest thing.
That just sounds bad to me.
I know.
Yeah.
That just sounds like
that
just sounds like bad game design.
Like I love Fallout 4. I think
or bad narrative design.
I think Fallout 4 is really, really great.
But that's bad.
But that's bad. Like, why do they say the exact same thing whether or not you fail or succeed?
It's objectively really bad.
They're like, yes, we'll help you. You failed.
I know, seriously. It's like that. A lot of times you'll succeed, but the character doesn't want to help you anyway. And they'll say the exact same thing as if you failed and they were like, I don't want to help you.
That's weird.
I've never noticed that before, and it bugged me really badly. I found out for the main quest stuff, choosing the angry dialogues is almost always the best option for the situation. It's so fun to choose the angry dialogues when you're searching for your son, because your character has a reason to be pissed at these people for not helping her. And it just really fits. It's fun. But you have to be careful because in side quests, it'll frequently end them early.
Oh.
I learned the hard way on that a couple times. Oh, I learned that melee weapons, like melee fighting, is really, really fun. Like, I've never really gone with melee. I'm always just like sneaking and like long distance stuff. But melee fighting is really awesome. And if you use the bash button, you feel superhuman. It like, because your character will do these really cool moves, and it's nice. I guessed a couple of the late game twists, and I felt very proud of that. Um, they clearly cared the most about Dance's character when they were creating the game, because his companion quest, has the coolest ending scene ever. And it's like, there's a lot more care done to it. It's a really cool conversation, and the camera is different. It's not just the usual dialogue camera, which the usual dialogue camera is used in some of the biggest main quest conversations. It's weird. But in Dance's quest, it's like fancy. And then my last thing is just, why won't my stupid settlers just be happy already? I gave them a bar, a clinic, a gym, and 2 gorillas.
I'd
No,
be
I need the
happy
other
with
one.
just the 2 gorillas. Let's be real.
I know, they have 2
I'd
gorillas.
be happy with 1 gorilla.
Yeah.
They have 2 gorillas. I'm gonna get them a cat and a dog, and they still are not happy. Gosh,
Man.
darn it.
Although I've heard gorillas are strong enough to accidentally rip your arms out of the socket.
That sounds right. It also
True.
adds 10 to your defense for each gorilla. Okay, and then the other game that I played that was very quarantine appropriate was Vampire. I decided to play it again so that I could do the evil route and get the platinum. And it was a little too real, you guys. Because it takes place during the Spanish influenza, and it felt a little too real. It was actually a little scary sometimes. I'd be talking to people, especially when I was talking to other doctors, and they'd be talking about the epidemic, and I'm like, this sounds a lot like now. Like, it's not the same. It's not, I know it's not the same. Spanish influenza was worse. A lot more people died. But it just, like, it's a little too real, and it was very scary in a different way.
I just want to point out, a lot more people died with the Spanish influenza because it lasted years.
That's true, yeah, I know.
Like,
But, like, the first time I played Vampire, I remember getting spooked and getting creeped out by it because of the scary music and the scary atmosphere, and I played it at my cousin's haunted house a lot. But this time, it was scary in a very different way, because I was used to the scary atmosphere and the enemies, and they're, like, when the skulls would shriek and like moan and stuff, it wouldn't scare me this time. What was scary was just how, like, just like the real life aspects of the game were scary now. It was like dialogue with people was scarier to me now than the other.
you know, I had a similar reaction just because I started Leon's story, and there was this throwaway line that like really kind of stuck with me for the rest of the day, and it was so, I think that was why. I think it was because it was more of a real life thing.
Yeah.
And it's just that he was supposed to come out to work there and have his first day earlier, like a week earlier, and they told him, "Oh, don't come yet. We're still dealing with the pandemic."
Yeah.
And he finally came to try and help. But it's like, I don't know, it was just this little line about them telling him not to come.
Yeah.
And it was just reminding me way too much of the kinds of things.
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird because I'm like, there's a flayed zombie with a 6-foot tongue, and I'm just like, whatever. But then there was this tiny line about like not starting your job right away, and I was just like, woo.
Yeah.
It's
so,
weird.
It's just like really
amazing
quick.
what perspective will do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really quick. So like right after things started to get really crazy here in Utah, I got done with work and I'm like, man, I need to unwind. This is insane. This is scary. So I go to watch The Simpsons, and the next episode in my queue is Hurricane Nettie or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is a little close to home. And then I start watching it, and the storm starts coming and everyone runs to the quickie mart and they're like panic
Oh,
buying everything. And I'm like, I know this is supposed to be funny, but this is too
but
close
it's
to home
not.
right now. Like,
Yeah.
this is what's happening right now.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. It was just, I just found it really interesting that this game that had before scared me for very like game like reasons was now scaring me for real life reasons.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard to get through it. I got really scared,
Mm.
and even doing the evil thing, like I had to kill a lot of people. I feel like it was harder for me to kill all those people for the platinum than it would have been a year ago when I
Yeah.
played it the first time.
Mm.
And it was interesting though. I was still happy that I played it because I had a good time. I experienced the story again. I got to see the evil ending, and I got the platinum. But I have some notes on it. I just have to say that the evil playthrough is really fun for the XP that you'll get and the fighting. The fighting mechanics are way more fun when you're evil because you have all these cool abilities and you can just like destroy your enemies. I also played it on story mode, so that helped. But as far as the ending goes, it is not worth it. The ending when you're evil is so bad. Like it's like it's cool story wise because like yeah, it's fun that you've got this other ending, but you are so evil at the end. If you get the evil ending, you're so evil and you've screwed up everything and you've screwed up your life and congratulations. But when I did it, the first time I beat it, I did a no embrace run, and so I didn't kill anyone, and it was the perfect ending. It was so much fun. I loved it so much, but it was very hard to get through the game. Like
Yeah.
it was a struggle because you can't play on story mode with that, and story mode didn't exist when I started the game. They added that later, but it was really hard to get through it without killing anyone, but it was definitely worth it when I got to the ending. Um, let's see. Oh, I found out that if you press dodge constantly to move through the city, you'll move faster than the game can load the environment.
Well,
Yeah,
that
it's
sounds
crazy.
exciting.
I know, it's fun. You'll be like shooting through the city, and all of a sudden it'll just start loading. It'll like pause the game, and it'll have to load, and it'll do that a ton as you keep going.
That also sounds bad.
I know, it was fun though. I was like, I move faster than the game can load.
These are just what you're describing are problems.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the enemies in that game, I talked about the scowls making their like loud noises and stuff. Every single stupid enemy in that game is so loud, and it pissed me off, and I killed a bunch of them just so they would shut up. Okay, Mason Swanborough is an idiot. He discovers a cure for blindness, and then he can't handle how depressing everything is, so he blinds himself. It's moments like these that tell you that this game was made by the same people who did Life is Strange.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
it is.
Oh, okay. Well, then I definitely don't want to play it.
It's really fun. I definitely suggest it because, like, yeah, it's got moments like that where you're like, oh gosh, Don't Nod is doing that thing again, you guys. But it's still a really fun game anyway. There's lots of things like that. Oh, also another like Life is Strange kind of thing. And there's a lot of moments where it feels like the characters have just recited the moral of the story, and there's about to be a little thing that comes up and says, "The more you know," above them. There's a moment at the end where Dr. Reed says something about to the effect of, "That's why you shouldn't do unethical experiments." And I was like, "The more you know."
Learning and growing.
Yes.
From the Aquabats.
It's so funny. Yes. It's so funny though. Oh, I found out that London is way more resilient than I thought. My first playthrough, because I didn't want to accidentally kill anyone, I was like walking on eggshells the whole time. I was so scared that people were going to get sick and die, and that it was going to bring down the whole neighborhood, you know? And I was just like, I would frequently not sleep for like a long time and make the game harder on myself just because I didn't want to accidentally make people sick. You can actually like sleep a lot, and like it doesn't matter that much if people get sick. As long as people aren't dying, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I killed all the people that I needed to kill for the achievements to get all the weapons. And I actually managed to glitch 2 weapons, so I didn't have to kill 2 people that I would normally have to kill. But so I killed all the ones that I needed to, but apparently it wasn't enough to completely bring down London for the London is Burning achievement, trophy, whatever. And so I was like, you know what? It's like, it's almost to the point where they're going to fall. I'm just going to go to sleep for like 2 weeks and everyone will be sick and then they'll all die and it'll be great. And they were fine. I just kept sleeping. Everyone was horribly ill and everyone was fine. And the stupid neighborhoods would not fall. And so I had to go and kill one more person in each of them neighborhoods. It's really annoying. I didn't want to have to do that. Let's see. It didn't matter anyway because they all died anyway. But oh, the music is amazing. Lady Ashbury's theme sounds like the music in Outer Worlds. And then I had something else, and it was an actual kind of constructive criticism, but I forgot it.
That's what she wrote in her notes.
Yeah.
She wrote, I forgot the last thing.
I was hoping that by the time I actually got to where I was reading it, I would remember what it was, but I didn't remember.
Nope.
I can't remember what it was.
Oh, that's
All right.
funny.
And then the third and final game that I have been playing during this here quarantine is Divinity Original Sin 2. And I am thoroughly obsessed with it. I started it like 4 days ago. I've been playing it constantly. I've already played, I don't even know how long I've been playing it for, but I stayed up till 3 the other night playing it, and I finally had to make myself go to sleep. And I keep finding myself playing it, and all of a sudden my eyes start hurting really, really badly. And I realize I haven't blinked for a long time. That keeps happening constantly as I'm playing this game. I love
Wow.
it so much. It's so good, you guys. You should play it with me. You can play it solo, but you can also play it with other people. It's really fun. And it's just... I love it. It's a tactical turn-based, though, which I was like... Going in, I was like, oh man, turn-based combat, that's so annoying. But tactical turn-based is really fun. I love it. I actually really love it. It makes it so that all battles take forever. Like right before we started this, I was in a battle for like an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
And it was crazy. It was just one battle, but it was so exciting and really fun, and the abilities you get are awesome. My character can sprout wings and fly across the battlefield, and like she can teleport people. And so what I like to do is I like to pick the strongest person and teleport them either far enough away that it's going to take them forever to get back to the battle, or teleport them up somewhere where they can't get down. It's really fun.
Yes. So Erin, I imagine that now is probably your favorite apocalypse, right?
Oh, totally.
So aside from the real life one, what is your favorite apocalypse game? Or game that features apocalyptic themes, I guess.
Okay, so I think sorry. The closest I've come would be Arkham Knight. I mean, the entire city is evacuated. And Control, because the oldest house is pretty much having its own apocalypse.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, that counts.
But yeah, they're both some of my favorite games of all time. In fact, I recently started the DLC for Control, and it's amazing so far, and I may or may not be trying to juggle too many games at once. Someone help me.
I want to start that. It looks cool.
Yes,
But
it's so good so far.
after I beat Divinity.
Elsa, what's your favorite apocalypse game?
So, I don't know if this counts, but I loved the themes of Ragnarok in Hellblade, and especially it looks like in Hellblade 2, they might be continuing that, because that was, I mean, spoilers, but at the end of Hellblade, there's an exchange between Hel and Senua where she says something like, I'll fight for you at Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that that's going to be what the second game is about,
So
potentially. And I'm pretty stoked. So if I can count that, then
I think you can.
Yeah.
Ragnarok is an apocalypse.
Ragnarok's an
I mean,
apocalypse.
Hellblade, the first one, you're not really starting it, but it's like it's like the prequel to the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And so I count it.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
And then I did want to discuss, I know I already mentioned Outlast earlier tonight, and specifically the whole whistleblower thing. But the second game, I don't think I've talked as much about the second game. I did like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think in the end it didn't grab me the way that the first one did, but I still enjoyed it, and there was ways in which it improved upon the first one, and then there was ways in which it was just, I don't know, not as impactful overall. But one thing that I loved about the second one was just the setting and that whole theme. Like, it takes place in the middle of nowhere in small town America, like very southwestern Gothic, you know? And it's like a cult out in the middle of the desert. And you know, these are themes that just sort of resonated with me for reasons. I like those kinds of stories. They're interesting. But one thing that's interesting is that it as the story progresses, you start to realize that this is a doomsday cult and that you are headed towards a doomsday scenario. And it ends in this really interesting way where, like, it almost implies that they were right.
Yeah.
And that the world is over. But it's I'm pretty sure it's like, that's not really it's complicated. But anyway, I thought that they did some very interesting stuff with Outlast 2, and with, you know, exploring a doomsday cult within a survival horror story.
Yeah.
I really liked that a lot, and it was creepy, and some of it was maybe even so realistic it was in poor taste. But it was still a lot of fun, and it still had some very cool moments, and yeah, there's just, it's great. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sounds cool.
Jensen, what are some of your favorite apocalypse games?
Well, Fallout will always hold a special place in my heart. I've never played the first two, but I've always wanted to. But 3, New Vegas, and 4, I think they're all really great apocalypse games. Oh, I forgot Fallout 76. I haven't really played enough of that to know. It's probably fun.
So have you just not been paying attention?
I know. But no, it's gotten some updates, and it's gotten some like.
But then didn't it get worse again?
No, they've fixed some stuff since then, and they're putting out a new update that's going to add more single player content. So I'm like, oh, I might get it. But the players of Fallout 76 broke the economy by selling toilet paper for really expensive prices. Yeah, and
that game keeps owning itself.
It's so funny.
Oh no.
They're doing it on purpose, like, to be funny, but they've ruined the economy by doing that. It's so funny. But anyway, so Fallout I just love. But I also really loved Far Cry New Dawn. I thought it was the most beautiful apocalypse I've ever
that was
seen.
like the neon-soaked apocalypse.
Yes, with bright pink flowers. Oh, I loved it so much. It looks a bit like that one movie with Natalie Portman that we watched, that we loved.
Movie? Oh, Annihilation.
Yes. With the really scary scene.
It does look a bit like Annihilation.
It looks like that. That's what it reminds me of, but it's like the whole world and not just like a little section. And
that movie was cool.
Yeah. That was a cool movie. And so I love Far Cry New Dawn. I just think it's so pretty. And then if you think about it, Mass Effect counts.
Okay, let's move on.
No, Mass Effect's my favorite apocalypse because it counts. It counts because it's creatures coming to kill everyone.
Look, I see how it counts, but let's move on.
It's an apocalypse, and I love it.
So, which video game apocalypse do you think you could survive, Erin?
Probably Hatoful Boyfriend.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, but she's not wrong.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
You're right on both accounts. Not only is that an apocalypse, but you could survive it.
Yes. Are you fine with dating birds, Erin?
Yeah, I mean, I I love birds, and
She does.
I
She does love
yeah,
birds.
I do love birds, and I'm pretty oblivious. I probably wouldn't even know something was going down at the school. And from what you guys told me, they leave you alone as long as you don't dig too deep. So I think I'd be
Yeah.
okay.
As long as you don't dig too deep or date any of your teachers, you'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
I don't know about the living in a cave part though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part's a little.
I think Erin won. I think she won the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, it is an apocalypse.
I didn't even think about that. You're so right. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, I think I'd be okay in the Resident Evil apocalypse, actually. Jensen just gave me the like the most
Incredulous look.
yeah, the most pointed like, oh really? Yeah. No, but I honestly, here's the deal. All of the danger that I have encountered in these Resident Evil games, I mean, obviously there's stuff like Nemesis and the Licker and things like that where it's like, oh, okay, I just die.
Yeah.
But like,
well, here's the point when I would die.
But except not really, because most of the time, like for example, in the Resident Evil 3 demo, there's a bit where you walk out into a courtyard and Nemesis is there. And it was driving me crazy that I couldn't just turn around and go back through the door behind me.
She just like she's like there's zombies everywhere and she just waltzes through a door like Kramer in Seinfeld, just like, hi Nemesis.
And it's like, no, that's not how you travel in the apocalypse. So if this is me in an approximation of the Resident Evil apocalypse, like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna throw the door open and stride out into the courtyard. I'm gonna open it the tiniest. First of all, I'm gonna listen at the door, and if I hear something, I'm just not even gonna touch it. But and even if I don't hear something, I'll open it a crack and I'll peek out and I'll see Nemesis, and then I'll go no, and I'll shut it, and I'll leave. Yes. And this is how I will live my life in the Resident Evil apocalypse, and I feel like I would survive.
I agree. I think you would.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh man.
Also, this is okay. And maybe this is, I think this seems like it's a little bit, it's okay, not a little bit. It's like way different in 3. But in 2, the resource allocation's really interesting because I feel like I'm always worried that I don't have enough of what I need. And I'm always just barely finding stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, good, I needed another pouch. Or, oh, good, I needed more ammo. Like, I'm always discovering it right at the crucial moment. And part of
earlier today when you couldn't find a single shred of pistol ammo and a billion bits of shotgun ammo.
Yeah, that was okay. But then I found the shotgun.
Oh, there you go.
So I found the key card that let me get to the shotgun. Yeah. Anyway, so like that was fine. But like I wouldn't have to use so much ammo if my character was just capable of lifting up their boot and stomping skulls.
Yeah.
Like whenever I find a corpse lying on the ground, I'm always immediately like, that's a zombie. And my character has to just wait until it's coming at them, or I just have to spend ammo the second I see it. Either way, I'm using a lot more ammo than I need to.
Yeah. See, that would be such a great resource. Like you can do that in Dead Space, and it's like my main thing. I like knock the necromorphs down, then I go and step on their head a couple times.
Yeah.
And it's so useful. Why can't you just do that in Resident Evil?
I don't know. But anyway, I think I'd survive.
So it's me now.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think as far as apocalypses go, Far Cry New Dawn is not too bad. Like, if you don't piss off the like gangs, the highwaymen people, you probably would do just fine.
And you
like,
get a pet cougar.
Yeah, you could get like a pet cougar or a pet warthog. You could just find like a house that's been abandoned and just like chill out there. And chances are no one's gonna bug you. You might have to worry a little bit about the animals because there are some like mutated bears and cougars and stuff that are really scary. But maybe you could make friends with them. You don't know, they're animals. Like it might work out. And like there's not a lot of like really scary poisonous plants, and like the main danger is some animals and then some people who have guns and are crazy. But like as long as you are like hidden, you should be fine. So I think I could do okay in Far Cry New Dawn.
Mm.
And it's so pretty. And just take pictures of me doing tree pose on various things. It would be great. That would be my life.
So, in what apocalypse would you die instantly, Aaron?
All of them? but but especially like The Last of Us or
Oh.
Resident Evil, pretty much any zombie game. Like I would just be petrified. I wouldn't be able to move, and as we know from World War Z, movement is life, so I'd be screwed.
The book is so good, you guys.
Oh.
It's a really, really good book.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick Bloodborne initially because I just don't think I would. I wouldn't last 3 seconds.
Oh, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a really hard one. I'd probably just sit down and cry.
Even if you find a safe space, chances are it's gonna get invaded.
I mean,
So
I'd
who
even
knows?
choose the hunter's rest place, but even that I know that there is like a fight that takes place there at one point.
Yeah, there is.
And so like you wouldn't be safe forever there because at some point that fight is going to happen.
You're safe absolutely nowhere.
There's
The
nowhere that's
aliens
safe.
are coming. It's
Yeah.
cosmic horror everywhere.
Yeah, there's
Like,
nowhere safe, and there's even some things that are invisible. And
dead
will
are
kill
rising from the ground. Creatures are coming down from the sky. It's like you just said. There's nowhere to go.
There's giant spiders. Giant spiders.
No.
Yeah, that would be hell.
Ew. I just did that boss fight. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So Jensen, where would you die immediately?
same answer as Aaron. Anywhere that there's zombies, because, like, as far as like irrational fears go, that's now the top of my list. I used to have a very terrible fear of spiders, but I've kind of been able to overcome that, and it's been replaced by an irrational fear of zombies. I know zombies aren't real, but they scare me so badly.
Mhm.
And I just know if I found myself in Resident Evil, I would like Aaron said, I would be petrified. I wouldn't even want to go anywhere because I would be like, okay, facing zombies would be terrifying. Getting turned into a zombie would be the worst. And just getting straight up eaten would suck too. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to be able to do anything other than those three things because I'm not going to be able to get past them.
I see the dilemma.
For real.
Yeah, I would just die.
Can I just congratulate us that we've made amazing time on this episode?
We have
An hour and
This is
9
really good.
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Like we're
Like
so
50
efficient.
of those minutes we're talking about our games that we played, but like the rest of it has just been, it was only like 20 minutes on the questions.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's awesome.
I feel like it makes sense given how we're living right now.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
we're playing a lot
Mm.
more.
a lot of games. I
Yeah,
beat
for sure.
Vampire in like 4 days,
Yeah.
and
Except-
last time it took me like 3 months.
Except Erin abstained from games today for Good Friday because
Yeah.
she's a very good Christian.
Good job, Aaron.
It's rough. I'm probably gonna play tonight, so
Oh yeah,
it'll be good.
Oh,
I think you got it. I think
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
enough time.
It's been over 24 hours since
Yeah.
I played Final Fantasy VII, so
Now it's
you
time
know,
to play
that's
some Final
the-
Fantasy VII.
that's a requisite.
You got to get
Yeah.
back to your boy Cloud.
That's right.
Yeah,
He
gotta see
needs
what
me.
he's up to.
So, what not video game thing are you relying on to get you through quarantine, Erin?
So mostly anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I finished the first season of a newish one from like last year called The Ones Within.
Oh, I don't know this one.
And it's so good. It's about like this group of Let's Players. I mean, they all have their own individual channels, but they are kidnapped and forced to play like games with real life consequences. And like it's so good. Like it's intense, but
Ooh.
also the characters are really interesting and entertaining and funny. And yeah, I I plowed right through it. It was way good.
Hmm.
And hopefully we'll get a season 2 soon. I also watched Charlotte. I really enjoyed that until they brought in an element of time travel.
Oh.
like I can't stand it when people claim they can't fix something, but they literally have the power to travel through time. It's
Yeah.
like, do not tell me you can't fix this. You're stupid. Like, stop. So yeah, it kind of ended annoying.
Oh.
Yeah, and I started Demon Slayer, and it's awesome so far, but I've heard it's not as good in later episodes. I
Oh,
hope
really?
that's not true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm only like
Yeah.
I'm only like 6 episodes into it, but I
Mhm.
love it so far.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, same though. And I've also been watching the Persona 5, the animation. I've been having Persona 5 withdrawals.
Oh. If
But I
if you
mean, I
want your
haven't
game
played it.
back, I can go put it in your
No.
mailbox.
No, that's no, that's fine. Like, I'm not ready to play it yet, but I'm
Okay.
just kind of doing it on the side so I can have something. Yeah, like part of me wants to buy Persona 5 Royal, even though I've
Oh.
already spent an obscene amount of time on the original game. So yeah, it's bad. I'm trying to stop myself, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's fun.
I heard the Persona 5 anime is like a really good demonstration of why you should just play Persona 5.
It is.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I still like it just because I know the characters and stuff like that, but yeah, it's
Mhm.
definitely lacking in what the game provides.
Yeah.
Still a good time though. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I was said before when I started sliding into the most boring topic in the world, I am still doing a lot of work right now, but because I have a little bit more time to myself, I've been writing another book, and yeah,
Ooh.
and I'm having a
Ooh.
lot of fun with that. I think this one's gonna be cool. I hope.
Cool.
Yay.
And then I'm also binging JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Diamond is Forever. Or Diamond is Unbreakable. and Beastars. So I guess I'm a furry now, and I'm into boar. I think that's how that works.
Oh my gosh.
I read all the manga. It's really good. I'm like a little angry about how good it is. Because yeah, it is what it is. It's honestly excellent though. I'd say it has more in common with Animal Farm than some of the other stuff it gets compared to, like Zootopia.
I think it's funny that you've been obsessed with these two animes lately, and you have shown bits of them or been watching bits of them around mom and dad, both of them, and they have decided that they hate Beastars, but I think they really like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I don't even know if they hate or like either of them.
But
It's more just like we're all stuck in quarantine together, and they have to pick up on some of this. There was a really funny bit though where Dad walked in on me watching the scene in Beastars where Lugosi, or is it Lugosi? It's Lugosi, sorry.
Yeah.
They spell it like Bella Lugosi in the manga. But anyway, yeah. So Lugosi and Haru were just eating lunch together and talking, and my dad watched approximately 10 seconds of it with zero context and just said, okay, well, he needs to either eat her or kiss her. And I was like, that's it, that's the show. Like, they have managed to present the themes of the show so clearly that my totally, uninitiated father saw 10 seconds of a mostly irrelevant scene and picked up on what the central idea of the story is. So
I just thought it was funny that you watched all of the opening or all the ending themes for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure the other day, and Dad was like totally paying attention and like rocking out and watching.
it's because
like,
the
this
music's
is cool.
great.
I know. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, I've also started a project where I'm downloading a bunch of anime openings and anime closings just because I want to have them for myself. And so yeah, my dad watched a couple of JoJo's closings, and he was like, this music's great. And I was like, yeah, I know. The show's great.
Nice.
Well, is anyone going to ask me what I've been obsessed with?
You haven't done anything with video games.
No, I have.
Oh.
Didn't you look at the outline? I wrote it down.
I know, I just didn't believe any of it.
Okay, well, my non-video game thing that I have been relying on to get me through the quarantine, I have to say the entire name because nobody asked me. I've been obsessed with Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I found this a couple months ago, but I remembered it, that Pluto TV, which is free on PlayStation, it's free everywhere, but it's like there's a PlayStation app for it, has a channel devoted to Mystery Science Theater 3000, and it just plays episodes constantly 24/7. And I have Lainey's PlayStation, and so I've been just turning it on in my room, like on her PlayStation on my second TV, so that I can watch it while still playing video games. And I have been watching so much MST3K, and then I discovered that they're all on YouTube, all of the episodes in order.
Oh, wow.
So I started at the very beginning, and I've just been watching the whole series. I'm in the 3rd season now, and I have watched so many terrible movies, you guys, and I am so sick of Gamera fighting various stupid giant monsters. I hate Gamera. I hate him so much. Even the MST3K guys cannot make Gamera an acceptable movie to watch in any situation. I hate them. Those stupid children and their stupid obsession with that rocket-powered turtle just pisses me off.
I mean, I would probably be obsessed with a rocket-powered turtle too.
Oh, he drives me crazy. The first time I saw him use the rocket powers through his leg holes in his shell to fly off in a big circle, I was just like, I feel like I just lost a ton of brain cells. Like, it's so stupid. Yeah, I'm getting sick of Gamera. I think there's one more Gamera movie left in this season, and then I'm finally done. Hopefully forever. But I'm really excited to get to some of the episodes that I've like only ever heard about and never actually seen. There's one, the first episode with Mike, it's called like The Brain That Wouldn't Die or something like that. I've always wanted to see that one, and I couldn't find it anywhere until I found it was on YouTube. But I'm excited to get to that one. There's a couple that I remember seeing as a little kid that I've been wanting to watch again. It's been really fun. I'm having a great time with it. So
Nice.
that's what I've been obsessed with. That and editing The Room from memory.
Yeah. Need
Oh
to
my
get
gosh,
it up.
Aaron. It has been rough because that movie is so boring. And I still haven't found the dang spoons. I still haven't found what they're all about, Aaron. I have not found the spoons. Yeah, there's something about spoons in the movie. People who go to see the movie, they throw spoons at the screen. And I still don't know why. I cannot find the spoons.
That's amazing.
I have seen so much of this dumb movie now, and I still can't find the spoons. Anyway, that's quarantine life for me.
Slowly going mad over spoons.
Yes, the dang spoons.
I just did a quest like that I just did a quest like that in Witcher 3.
Yeah. The what's her called? The white?
The spotted white.
Yeah, the spotted white. She collects spoons. That's a fun quest. It's a really fun quest. I like it.
She's cursed. It's really sad.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's a fun time. It's one of those ones where like the story really draws you in, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see how this resolves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It resolved with me getting a new cook.
Yeah, me too. It was fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is our life now.
Yep. This is what we do now.
Thing.
The new world order.
Yep. Well, should I wrap it up?
I think you should, Aaron. I think you should wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the way the world is now, and we're relying on you to pull us through it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save the world because I fasted Final Fantasy VII.
I believe in you, Aaron.
Thank you. Well, your princess is not in this podcast because she's social distancing, but she might be in the next podcast. Depends on how long this whole thing lasts. We'll see. thanks for listening. We'd love to hear from you, your hopes, your dreams, your loves and fears. Message us at Princess in Pod on Instagram and Twitter, or check out our YouTube channel, Princess in Another Video. You can also email us at princessinanotherpodcast@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Take good care of your gamer hearts and souls.